What are some of the myths that surround millionaires?
Yeah. Well, we talk about 6 in the book, but I'll tell you 2. Most people believe they inherited it all. Right? You see somebody with money, you think, oh, mom or dad handed it to them. The truth is, 79% of the millionaires that I talk to, first generation wealth builders. They didn't come from anything. Right. These are people that focused and built money over time. Next myth, well, if you're a millionaire, you make a high paying job, right? You got big income.
Yeah.
Nope. A third of the millionaires that we talk to never made 6 figures in a single working year.
Really?
Think about that for a second. Dual income, never made 6 figures. So that blows that myth out of the water. A third of the millionaires that we talk to.
Wow.
Right? Now you think about 6 figures nowadays, it's more prevalent than it's ever been. But
a lot of people with 6-figure salaries have nothing in the bank.
Thank you.
Because they just spend it all.
That's exactly right.
And they're using credit constantly to buy bigger things.
That's right. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So what happens is people tend to think that income is so important. And I'll tell you, no, it's not. Because I was one of those people. I remember I was making about 30 grand. And I thought, all right, when I get serious, I'm 1 year out of grad school making 30, 40 grand. I said, all right, when I make this amount, I'll start to get serious about my money. Well, you know that path, right? Well, when I make this amount, the next thing you know, lifestyle grows and you never end up taking control. But these are regular, everyday people that took control and were focused. It was amazing. So let me tell you this. Top 3 positions of the 10,000 millionaires we studied. Number 1 was engineer. Which doesn't surprise you, right? They're good at planning.
Yeah.
Accountants.
Organized.
Yeah, accountants, same thing. They were number 2. They're good at counting stuff. Number 3 was teachers.
Wow.
Teachers.
They're not making that much.
Exactly. And you think they're undervalued, underpaid. How are teachers doing this? Well, if you think about what it is, wealth building is a long-term view, right? Not a quick hit. And so these get-rich-quick schemes that we see on TV at late night, they get me riled up because they're preying on people. But these people were people that built wealth over time, investing in their 401k, their 403bs. So anyway, the goal of this book is to let people know the American dream's not dead.
Yeah.
It's alive and it's well, and it's available to people. We just have to take action.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that they do on a daily basis, these millionaires? What are some of the steps to take? And how do they think differently than non-millionaires?
Great. 97% of the millionaires that we studied feel that they control their own destiny. Now think about that for a minute, because we have a victim mentality issue in America today, where we want to blame somebody for us not achieving something or getting in our way. So these millionaires think differently. 94% of them live on less than they make. So that means if they're making $100,000, they're living on 70 or 80, right?
You can't build wealth if you live on more than you make.
That's exactly right. And that's where the credit cards people start extending themselves and using credit cards. But 73% of these millionaires never carried a dime of credit card debt.
They never carry debt.
Debt.
Yeah.
Right.
You might use the card, pay it off every month.
Pay it off. Yeah. And so the mindset, and I love to give people in economics and a PhD in economics, interest that you pay is a penalty, right? If I use someone else's money, they charge me, right? That's a penalty. Interest that I earn on my investments is a reward, right? So why choose to penalize yourself? Don't use debt. Get yourself out of debt and invest and grow your money to reward yourself.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah.
Now, how have you managed to, through all the stuff you've gone through, I'm assuming the last, 15, 20 years, you've gone through some challenges. You told me before off camera that you have a child who has special needs and was told that they wouldn't live past a certain age. I'm assuming you've had challenges in relationships, with business partnerships, intimate relationships, family. Yeah. The more wealth that I've accumulated and the attention that I've gained, there's more people with handouts, expecting, whatever it may be. How have you personally managed the emotional challenges that have come your way by not letting it affect your mindset around money so that you don't do things emotionally with your money?
Right. Well, I mean, I've been there. I don't know about you, but I've made some mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. And, a mistake that you make 1 or 2 times, you can call it a mistake. But when you keep doing it over and over, it's not a mistake anymore. It's called a choice.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm a man of faith. So obviously I'm rooted there. But I got good people around me.
Yeah.
I got good friends, people that have known me since my childhood, people that know me for who I am. So I'm not an author and speaker with these people. I'm just Chris. And so those people keep me rooted, right? Mama Hogan is no joke either, okay? She'll keep me rooted. And so I think it's really important to understand, what am I trying to accomplish? Like, I don't want notoriety. I don't want to be famous. I want to be known that I help people think bigger, right? And so staying rooted in that, it helps me to be very, very clear on what I'm doing. People will come up and tell me, oh, Chris, you changed my life financially. And I go, whoa, pump the brakes. I didn't change anything. I gave you some information. You did the changing. And so I think it's really important as we help people that we stay aware of who's doing what and our role.
Yeah, I think there's a story about Marcus Aurelius where he would go around the town and he had someone just walk with him, beside him, and say, "You're just a man." Every time someone would praise him, be like, "You're just a man."
Can you imagine that? I mean, seriously.
Isn't that cool?
How rooted does that keep you? You know, so, John Wooden's got a quote. And he says, be careful of fame, because fame is man-made. And if man giveth, man can taketh away.
Absolutely.
And so being aware of that, I think, is really, really important. What's the heart behind what I'm trying to do?
Yeah.
And so, if I travel and I go speak to 10,000 people, if I get one person whose eyes light up and they start thinking differently, then I've done my mission.
Yeah.
And before we continue, I want to tell you about a product that can help you on your investing journey, and that's Wealthfront. No matter your current situation, our sponsor Wealthfront can make investing easy, affordable, and accessible. They are pioneers in the automated investing movement, otherwise known as robo-advising. And it just takes a few minutes to sign up with Wealthfront to be on your way to a diversified portfolio that is tailored just for you. And once you open up and fund your account, Wealthfront software will manage it for you and employ expert strategies right away. They'll take charge of rebalancing to keep you at your desired risk threshold, as well as look for opportunities daily to lower your tax bill through their tax loss harvesting service. This is really cool. Investing in yourself and your future shouldn't feel like a full-time job. All you need is a few minutes and $500 to open an investment account, and Wealthfront does the rest. The annual management fee is 0.25% of your assets, and right now I'm partnering up with them to get you $5,000 managed for free forever. All you have to do is use my link, invest.wealthfront.com/Lewis. Okay, now for the next lesson.
What's the biggest challenge you've gone through in the last 15 years?
Oh,
personally,
yeah.
emotionally, financially?
Biggest challenge was definitely the diagnosis of my youngest son, Case. At age 2, they diagnosed him with this rare genetic disorder that could kill him. It could take away his speech, take away the ability to walk, ability to eat, and eventually end up on a feeding tube. It was the scariest moment of my life, sitting in that doctor's office holding that 2-year-old boy.
Wow.
Listening to that. And went to some dark places over a few years.
Really?
Well, you know what us men do when we have challenges. We're not as smart as women.
Yeah, we don't share.
Women go share.
Yeah, we don't share.
Men don't share.
Yeah.
We isolate.
Yeah.
And then we internalize, and then we stuff, right? And so you can imagine working through something like that,
the weight
isolated.
you carry.
It messes with you.
It does.
It messes with you.
It does.
That was the biggest challenge I've walked through in the last 15 years.
How did you get through that initial few years of stuffing or pain?
I just stuffed. I didn't do what I should have done. Isn't it amazing how hindsight's 2020? Mm-hmm. I wish I would have sought out those close friends, and they would check on me. And what would I say? I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm all right. And I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. And so that was a learning lesson for me that isolating is dangerous. That it's good to reach out and get help. It's good to have people you can be real with. And I came to this realization: we need 4 people in our lives. You need a mentor. This is somebody that's having some success and can guide you. You need a coach who will push you, right? You and I know the word coach means something to us, right? Because they will get on you, they will drive you, because what's the goal? To try to help you to get better. But you need 2 more. You need a cheerleader. You need somebody that believes in you. They're not worried about what you achieve, they believe in you. And that's important to have. And then you need a friend. You need somebody you can be real with, that you can just say what's on your head. They're not holding it against you. You can be honest. So if you get a mentor, a coach, a cheerleader, and a friend in your side, that's awesome. But I want to encourage people to do this. Not only find those 4, you need to be one of those 4 for someone else.
You need to be 4 of those things. Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
You need to be a mentor.
Yes.
You need to be a coach.
Yes.
A friend.
Yes.
And a cheerleader.
Absolutely.
For someone else.
For somebody. And when you do that, now what it does is it takes the focus off of you. You know, one of the things you and I have in common is I firmly believe that if you've ever walked through a mess in your life, that it qualifies you to be a messenger.
It does.
You know, when you've gone through some stuff,
you learn.
That's right. And if you're willing enough to be transparent to share it, and you're not worried about people's opinions, the impact you can have on someone else to give them the courage to try or to reach out and talk, that's a big deal, man. This life is hard. It's not meant to be done alone. No. Yeah.
Wow. Who is your mentor, coach, cheerleader, and friend?
Oh, yeah. Well, mentor is obviously Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
This man has been an incredible mentor for me, just guiding me. And then over the 13 years of being with him. My coaches, man, I've got a lot. Yeah. I've got some people that are walking with me spiritually. Mm-hmm. I've got people that are walking me from a business perspective. I'm constantly reaching out to learn. I'm like a sponge all the time. That's big. Cheerleader, Mama Hogan.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my number one fan right there. She's behind me. I've got all kinds of family, uncles and everybody. They're just for me. Friends, I got amazing friends, childhood friends, people at the office, people that care about me as an individual, not just what I do. They know me.
Not the book.
No. They'll call me out.
Yeah.
You know, they'll call me out. I got a call from a buddy the other day. He goes, dude, how's the road? He goes, you keeping your head clear?
Yeah.
You staying focused? And he said, don't believe the hype.
That's right.
And so what he's telling me is hey, keep helping people. Keep your heart in the right place, you know? And so it's good to have those accountability people to check in with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just keeps your heart in the right place.
Yeah. What would you say is your biggest insecurity, fear, or challenge right now? You've been through different phases of your life, and as you grow and expand, I'm assuming there's new challenges that you overcome and then new stuff that maybe you haven't overcome yet.
Right. I think my biggest fear is, am I doing everything that I could be doing? Right? I've got 3 boys. They're hilarious, 14, 13, and 11. And these boys are my legacy. I grew up with a single mom, so my dad wasn't around. He came around with birthdays and holidays or whatever, but he wasn't there. So when I had started getting ready to have kids, my goal was to try to be the dad that I wish I would have had. And so that puts some weight on you, right? But I was hanging out with my boys, and we were somewhere, and I saw a poster of a little boy at a bus stop with a duffel bag, right? And he was just sitting at a bus stop, and I can't even remember what was under it. But I saw that little boy, and I thought of me, right? Like waiting. And then I realized, man, oh man, in my own life, like, you know, somebody somewhere is waiting on me to become what I was destined to be. And so if they're waiting on me to become who I was supposed to be, to impact their life, how long am I going to make them wait? You know? And so what that means is that I need to do everything I'm capable of doing and some things some people say I can't do, just to be able to help that person somewhere that's waiting to hear an encouraging word or something to impact their life.
Yeah.
So that's something that drives me every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it that people say you can't do?
Oh, man. I've had people tell me I couldn't write a book. You know, my first book came out in 2016, Retire Inspired. And I told a good buddy of mine, I told him I was working on a book. He goes, man, you can't write a book.
Really?
Yeah, and we were in church, right? I wanted to punch him in the eye. You can't hit people. Can't hit people in church. I got a feeling that's a sin, right, somewhere. But then later on, when I finished the book, and at the book signing in town, he was one of the people there. And I realized something. What initially he said was that I can't write a book. What he was saying was it's not something he's ever thought about doing, and it's not something that he could do.
It's his beliefs.
That was him, right? And so for me, that was a grow-up moment. He wasn't putting a limitation on me. He was speaking his own limitation, right? And so I just remember that, and I go, oh no, limitations. And so that's where I said, I'll accept compliments from anyone, but I ain't accepting limitations from nobody. Right? And that's anywhere in my life. You don't get to put a limit on me. That's what I love about, you know, Dr. Martin Luther King. The fact that he had the courage to have a dream, but the courage to share it, you know, that's something I want us all to have that mindset of. Stop thinking about what people say you can't do. You know, I mean, opinions are like yesterday's. Everybody's got them. What are you deciding in your heart to go do? Now start to go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So what do you do now in terms of your own wealth? How are you you've probably learned a lot again over the last 20 years from the banking world,
Yes.
like selling services. You learned a certain amount to get to one level. And then you realize like, oh, some things work well and some things don't work well. And then you got to another level of your wealth. And then you realize, okay, now I've got more wealth. Some things work and some things don't work. And you keep, I'm assuming, expanding. And
Yes.
I'm building my wealth. I realize, wow, there's always something to learn.
That's exactly right.
There's always stuff. Now there's taxes. Now I've got to learn how to invest my money. Now I've got to learn what's the right places and all those
Right.
things. So what's the phase you're at right now, and what are the biggest lessons you've learned in the last couple of years?
Okay, so the phase I'm at right now is obviously continued growth, right? Because with inflation, costs are going to go up.
course.
So you can't hide money in a cookie jar and just put it in the ground. It's got to grow. So with me, I'm always looking, but I'm understanding risk more. You know, these latest crazes that come out, I just cringe. Cryptocurrency,
it's crazy, right?
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
right? Now there's this thing out there. It's not even real. That's been given a value by somebody that's not regulated, right? And so when you look at this, you would laugh at that. But we've had people seriously pursue that. Day trading years ago was a big thing. So for me, what I'm doing is I'm trying to be smart with what I do, but I need to be crystal clear on what not to do. Meaning, I don't want to take unnecessary risks.
What are the things that are a non-negotiable you won't do?
I'm not doing debt. I am not doing debt.
So what's that mean for people?
That means I don't borrow money. I'm not looking to borrow money to leverage, borrowing money from my home to invest, no leverage schemes. I don't borrow at all, and I'm crystal clear on what it is I'm doing, meaning the longer range view. Lewis, what I started doing years ago was I started making 2-year decisions. I wanted to make a decision today that I look back on in 2 years, and I'm glad that I made it. Now imagine
What are some of those decisions?
Oh gosh, well, I mean, staying allergic to debt. I mean, I have people come to me all the time with business opportunities. They're like, Hogan, listen, if you put in this amount, we're going to do boom, 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 boom. You know, and in looking at that, I have to be smart enough to say no. Right? That if it looks too good to be true, we know it is, right? But I think it's more about I think I've made more money by not doing things than I would have by going down a path.
And did you invest in certain things early on where you're like, yeah, that seems like fun and interesting, and you're like, I never got my money.
Oh yeah, no, I learned my lesson.
I've invested, I think, 8 startups over the last 8 years. And guess how much money I've made?
How much, Lewis?
0.
How much did you invest? Give me a ballpark.
Probably about 250 to 300 grand.
Okay.
Luckily,
All right. That's not as bad.
I wasn't going like big on it.
Right.
I was like, let me just dabble.
Yes.
Let me just get in the game, play with it.
That's right.
It's okay if I lose it.
Right.
I had the mindset like, I'm gambling.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what I did. But
I
here's
wanted
it.
to learn.
And you know what? You paid a dollar amount, but you learned some stuff.
I learned some stuff.
You know what you're not going to do
Exactly.
ever again.
Exactly.
And see, to me, that's valuable.
Yeah.
Because obviously, as things grow and profiles grow, the risks grow.
I think that we don't talk about money because we think it's going to affect our ability to belong, whether it means we're too broke or we have too much, or somewhere in the middle.
Why is making 100,000 harder than making $1 million?